Want to know more about Madison, Wisconsin and the surrounding communities? Well, then you'll want to check out our Community Spotlight series, where we interview the local people, business leaders, and school officials to hear more details about living in the Madison area. I'm your host, Jeff Lavik, and I'm a local real estate agent, neighbor, and friend that cares about highlighting the great things and people within our community. Welcome back to Best of Wisconsin Homes. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates. We're doing our Community Spotlight series here, highlighting Madison and the surrounding communities. And today we're going south. So we're going just south of Madison, just south of Verona. We're going to the village in Belleville. And Belleville is definitely a smaller town, around 2,500 people or so. Compared to like Verona's around 11,000. Oregon I think has around 14,000, so a little bit bigger, and then obviously a lot smaller than the whole city of Madison as well. So lots of stuff though going on in Belleville if you're interested in that location, because it could be good for, say you're a biker, for example. You could take the Badger State Trail. This goes right off Seminole Highway out of Madison, goes through Fitchburg and goes right south, and that'll take you right down into Belleville. So you can go down the Badger State Trail if you're into biking, and then you can keep taking that all the way south down to all the way to Monticello, which is a little further down below. But the other interesting thing about Belleville is you'll notice it's right on the border. So you're right between Dane County and then Greene County is just to the south, on the south end of Belleville. And so both counties there, and if you're going by car, not by bike, for example, usually you'd come down, say, this Highway 18, 151, take the exit in Verona, and either go south on Highway PB down to Paoli, and then go past Paoli down on Highway 69, or you can keep going off 18, 151, Highway 69, again going through Paoli, and then coming on 69 on that direction, or you can come on the west side of Belleville going on Highway PB. So a couple different ways to get there if you're coming from Madison. Paoli. So some people might pronounce it Paoli because it's Paoli, right? Is it Paoli or Paoli? Depends on who you ask, but the locals tend to pronounce it Paoli. So, but then that's kind of a nice little cute little town also. Nice little shops down there, and they've got some different events that you can kind of go to right in that small town. But otherwise, in Belleville, there's the other nice thing about Belleville is the river kind of running through it. So this you'll notice the river it's part of the Sugar River, and then it is a larger part of the river does open up right within the community. It's on Lake Bellevue, so really nice picturesque thing. You'll notice it, especially if you come in on the east end of town on Highway 69. You'll drive in, it'll be right on your right hand side, and it's just a beautiful area when you come into town. Nice big park right nearby as well, right in the center of town. Good place to go. And there's also some new businesses happening right along the main street. There's a new pizzeria that had opened up there. But there's also been other longtime businesses, for example, Duluth Trading Company, which they moved their main headquarters over to Mount Horeb, if you may recall from our Mount Horeb series. But otherwise, they used to be in Belleville there. Okay, the other kind of interesting part about Belleville is, you're sort of between some other great things going on in southern Wisconsin. Obviously Madison to the north, but a little further to the south, you've got the town of New Glarus, and you may have heard of New Glarus Brewing Company, right? There is, that can be a good little day trip. Go check out the brewery in New Glarus, and, have a Spotted Cow, which is a iconic local brewery, local beer, and then other things in Greene County, you've got Brooklyn further to the east, which is also connected to Oregon, but definitely around it feels very rural. A lot of rolling hills kind of further to the west and to the south. A lot more farmland and that type of thing. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a more rural vibe in terms of a community, Belleville could definitely be a good place to consider moving to and living if you're really looking for kind of a small town feel, but also still connected fairly close to Madison. I mean, you're really 15, 20 minutes to Verona, and then Verona, you're pretty much right next to Madison. So you're close to a lot of things, but definitely has that kind of quiet, small town sort of feel. So that's a little bit about Belleville. With that, maybe we should spend some time and dive into different neighborhoods and communities and maybe some homes that you may want to take a look at in the area. Welcome back to Best of Wisconsin Homes. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates. We're exploring our Community Spotlight series again today, and we're in the community of Belleville. I'm here with Rick Francois. Thanks for joining us, Rick.
You're welcome.
He is a longtime resident and business owner in Belleville, and probably knows a heck of a lot more about Belleville than I do, so I thought he would be a good guest for our viewers today. So Rick, if you wouldn't mind, maybe just share a little more about yourself and your connection to Belleville.
Sure, thank you. Born and raised in Belleville. It's, I think, one of the coolest places on the planet. I've traveled a lot, and when my wife Carol and I come back from wherever it is, we're like, wow, this is really a nice spot. And so yeah, I go back. I was in business with my brothers and a couple other siblings. Bought the business from my dad.
And what kind of business was it?
Anything with that burned gas, we said. So we actually owned the Ford dealership in Belleville for many years. My grandfather started the business in 1939. Service anything, fixed anything, could make anything, and so we learned the trade from my father. And then my younger brother and Ed are just in the process of retiring, and we sold the Ford dealership a couple of years ago, but it's still a vital business in Belleville yet. Yeah. And it's cool to see the process. I've been here, like I say, for this. I've got a nephew in the business with us now. It's 4 generations, so I've watched this whole thing, and Belleville, improve. And grow, which is nice. Mm-hmm. But it's just such a cool town. The motto is small community, big heart, and it's so true because we're so close to the cities of Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago, so we've got all that stuff right there for us too. Yeah. We're in close proximity, but the community's small enough we're real tight yet. And then the natural amenities are just crazy good. When I was a little kid, my dad taught me to fish, of course, and we could walk across from his gas station, across the street, Main Street, mm-hmm. and go to the Sugar River and pull out bass and walleye, and
right across
we
the street,
swam there. We learned to swim there. The Red Cross did swimming lessons, and those things are being revitalized. It's a lot of those like the rivers and lakes and things. We all know the issues we have with those, and Belleville's done a wonderful job, spent millions of dollars improving those. Mm-hmm. Those beautiful amenities that we have. Main Street backs right up to the Sugar River, mm-hmm. and Dane County and Madison have been doing a wonderful job of helping us, revitalize those things.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing people notice, right? Just driving into town on 69 there, it's like the beautiful scenery and the water right there. I mean, it's definitely a picturesque community.
Yeah, and the biking thing is cool too. So not only do we have the Sugar River and Lake Bellevue, for all the canoe and kayak mm-hmm. and fishing kind of things, the bike path goes right through Belleville. So that's the old railroad bed. And
that connects all the way up to Madison, right?
It does.
Okay.
In fact, that's why I mentioned Madison and Dane County and how that association has been so good for us, is because we're trying to tie all those trails together. So right now I could do a 100-mile loop and stay on the trails and never get on the road, and do a 100-mile loop that I think goes all the way up to La Crosse and comes back down to Belleville.
Wow.
And all the communities are working on that connectivity thing.
Yeah.
And but one of the things that make Belleville stand out on the bike system and these trails we're talking about is that we've got Stewart Tunnel.
Okay.
That's 3 miles south of us, and that's the only curved tunnel in the state of Wisconsin. And
it's curved.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you enter the tunnel, it's you can't see light on the other end.
Okay.
So when you get in there,
It's gotta be a little freaky,
It's
huh?
black, yeah. Well, for people like me,
Yeah.
when I was young, that was a cool place to hang out. You can imagine there were a few parties down in Stewart Tunnel. We could hide out down there.
Yeah.
And so there's graffiti on the walls,
Yeah.
high school people I know. And but that fell into disrepair, of course, too. And so DNR actually closed it about 3 years ago. But thank God the powers that be funded it 2 years ago, and hopefully it'll be completed in 2025, so next year.
Okay.
And then that's a cool connection for Belleville. And then just 3 miles north back in Belleville, we've got a depot that's in the process of being restored right now.
Okay.
So the goal is to have our depot historically restored and then open to serve the bike trail when Stewart Tunnel opens.
Because the bike trail is right along where the depot is there.
Yeah, it's right beside it. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a great place to go biking and kayaking and fishing and all that kind
Come
of
on
stuff.
down.
So you bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rick, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing more with our viewers today about Belleville.
Thank you.
Thank you much. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates. You're watching our Community Spotlight series. Welcome back to our Best of Wisconsin Homes and Community Spotlight series. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates. We're here with Jeff Larson. He's our village president in Belleville and going to be sharing with our viewers a little bit more about what's going on in Belleville.
Wonderful. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're kind of just curious about, maybe somebody that's never been to Belleville. What's going on there that's really cool that maybe you want to share with our viewers?
Sure. Well, I always think of Belleville as a connection point, certainly between Dane County and Greene County. It's also a great opportunity for community to gather. We certainly have a variety of events that we have throughout the year. Probably our highlight is coming up later this year is UFO Days, which is the last Saturday in October. So if you're a fan of Halloween, it's a great opportunity to try out those costumes. And
do they fly in UFOs?
You know what? I think there's a history of actually a UFO sighting back in the 70s, I think.
Okay.
That actually... I think the rumor is that it was showing up on air traffic control down in Chicago back in the day, and now there's a lot of believers in Belleville, so we actually put on a parade, which it's just fun to attend to. It's a great opportunity for kids and families to come together and enjoy it. There's certainly live music throughout the community during that, but
they get dressed up in costumes and stuff? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
All throughout, it's a great time actually.
Wow.
So there's that. We certainly have a lot of live music throughout the year, right? Whether we're talking about our Belleville Music Festival, we've got Brothers in Arms, which puts on music in our library park right downtown. We've got Music in the Park, which our library puts on weekly every Tuesday night.
Is that the one down by the river there?
Yeah, so it's just about a block away from the river, right?
Okay.
So it's right in our old library park. So we've got a historical library right downtown.
Cool.
So we've got that. We've got a triathlon. We've got ultra marathon endurance races that are going on. We're super excited to see the Stewart Tunnel being worked on just south of town. So so those who are cycling out from Madison, it's about an hour-and-a-half ride at a good clip. You can certainly come out to enjoy, obviously, the Badger State Trail that runs right through Belleville as well. So there's lots to do. Relative to that, we're certainly blessed with the Sugar River running right through Belleville, as well as our Lake Bellevue, which is a great opportunity for kayaking. If you're not really into the current, you can come out onto the quiet waters of Lake Belleville. Certainly wildlife, bird watching, that sort of thing. There's just lots of opportunities to enjoy nature in Belleville. Belleville's only about 20, I think we counted 2761, I think, because we were just trying to get a new liquor license in town a couple weeks ago. And at that size, it's a small enough community that everybody still waves at you and says hello, but it's large enough that we've got some offerings relative to businesses. I know our main street's really flourishing and starting to revitalize. A couple new restaurants that are popping up. Certainly on Highway 69 as you come into town, we've got a lot of new businesses opening up there. So lots of things going on. There's certainly new construction that's popping up all over town as well. So lots on the horizon for Belleville. So
yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, it's kind of it's always struck me as like it is kind of a smaller town, but definitely seems like it's got a lot going on for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Baraboo, Wisconsin, but I went to school in Madison and lived in Madison for quite a number of years, and always knew of Belleville as kind of a great stop for cyclists to ride through town. But we've now opened up ATV and UTV routes in town, so we've got an opportunity for people to come up from Greene County and enjoy some of our restaurants and festivities, and really take advantage of what Belleville has to offer. So it's exciting to see all the things that are on cue, I guess, for what's going on in Belleville. So.
Yeah, for sure. We've definitely seen a lot going on, and I know some new developments, even newer homes being built in the area, and it seems like the community's growing a little bit more.
Yeah, we're slated to have, I think we've got a development that's got about 40 new homes coming up on the west side. There's a projection to have a couple hundred new homes on the south side in the next few years, and another development on the east side as well as on the north side. So kind of all different directions around Belleville, we're potentially expanding. But we've also got opportunities for business to come into town too. There's a few vacancies, not many, but there's a couple vacancies still downtown on our main street that we're really looking to fill, as well as certainly commercial districts on both the east and west side of town, where there's certainly opportunities for more industrial businesses to come into town. So
got it. Well, that makes sense. Well, just a few more seconds left. Any last minute things you might want to mention before we?
No, I would just say, come on down to Belleville, see what we have to offer. Certainly, it's we're at about 5-10 miles, 6 miles south of Paoli. People don't necessarily think about Belleville a lot, so we've got a lot of events going on. We've got a lot of things to enjoy. It's certainly a family-friendly area. It's a great place to raise a family. We've got a fantastic school district. Belleville's it's a great place.
Great place to be.
Absolutely.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing a lot more about Belleville with our viewers today.
Wonderful. I appreciate it, Josh. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. You're watching Best of Wisconsin Homes, our community spotlight in Belleville. All right, well, welcome back. We're exploring the village of Belleville today, just south of Madison. Again, I thought it'd be helpful to explore some real estate in the area and kind of look at property values and kind of get an idea of what you could potentially buy in Belleville compared to the other areas around Madison. So again, if you do decide to move to Belleville, their mascot you may see around town is home of the Wildcats. So if you got kids in school, they'll be go Cats, go Wildcats. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into some properties, shall we? So again, just if you're in Madison, kind of in the middle of Dane County, you're going just to the south. So past Fitchburg, past Verona, past Paoli, and you're going to eventually on, say, Highway 69, you'll get to Belleville. If you keep going, you get to New Glarus. You've probably gone too far, or if you get out to the country, out in Dayton, that's a little further to the south, out in the country. But anyway, Belleville, you come in and you've got Lake Bellevue on your right-hand side off of Highway 69. So really picturesque scenery right in downtown Belleville. But then the other thing you'll notice, I think, is some of the homes, you'll notice right here, for example, here's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,596 square feet, just sold for $260,000. So, if you're in that price point where, our median home price in Dane County is around $450,000. Well, here you can get something $260,000. Here's another one at $360,000. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just over 2,000 square feet. Or another one for $350,000, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. So, definitely under 400 is definitely possible, definitely doable. And if you're able to go a little bit closer to that median price, even around 400, 450, there's some actually brand new homes that are available. So, here you've got new construction going for $420,000, another one at $371,900. Some of the other even larger ones are still, this is 2720 square feet for under $500,000. This one's $471,000. So, that's some of that new development happening on the west end of town. And of course, there are a few others that have sold, for more than that. But I think if you're looking for, again, an affordable kind of smaller town feel in that community, Belleville certainly has some good options. So this is, and then, further south of Main Street, this is when you get into Greene County. So you're not in Dane County anymore, but you're in Greene County. Here you can kind of see kind of similar price points, but in that, 375, 340, 367, maybe 5 1/4 price point. This is, a nice multi-level 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square foot home, certainly a good option. So that's as far as what's sold. As far as if you're thinking maybe you'd prefer to have a condo in Belleville, what options are available for condos, definitely not as much. So you can see here, there's only been, half a dozen or so condo sales that have been recently. Most of these are going to be more half duplex or shared walls type of condos. Certainly can be a good option if you're looking to still have some of that maintenance taken care of with a condo. But those, even this one, for example, brand new, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, sold for $359. This one, a 3-bedroom, sold for $275. So, definitely some affordable options. Even this one, close to almost $200,000. This was $213,000. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,268 square feet. So that's what you get for condos. If you're looking to maybe some land, maybe you want to try to build your own dream home. What land has sold nearby? Well, there's been a few land sales. The one I think that's most noteworthy, though, is this one just to the east of town. It was 204 acres, just sold for $3.6 million. And this just sold in June of 2024. June 17th, 2024. So I can tell you this is probably not going to remain vacant land. So some of that new development that we saw on the west end of town, more than likely you're going to see some new development happening on the east end of town in the next few years. So that recently just sold as well. So, but yeah, as far as what's available in terms of single family homes, there are still certainly some homes that are available kind of in this price range. And even if you wanted, say, something closer to that waterfront, you can get something right down. This one, for example, was down right on the river, beautiful property, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,452 square feet for $675,000. So, a beautiful home, again, right on the water, is a good option. Certainly, if you're able to go for a little bit higher price point above that median price of $450,000. And even further out. So some of these I noticed, for example, you get up here, there was one that sold a little farmette. So if you're looking to have, a little home out in the country, you can get, this was a 3-bedroom, sold for $775,000, but you got 40 acres and some barns and stuff like that. So options for farmettes, lots of different options. But that's, a little bit about the real estate in Belleville. And again, if you want a more customized search, feel free to reach out to our team. But hope you found this video helpful as we explore the village of Belleville. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates, and you're watching our Community Spotlight series on Best of Wisconsin Homes. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of our Community Spotlight series. If you want to learn more about living in the Madison area and our local real estate market, then feel free to reach out to our team at 608-440-9886. That's 608-440-9886, or find us online at joshlavik.com.